Good evening. My name is Tariq Mahmood and I am serving as a Senior Fire Protection Engineer in Punjab Emergency Service, Pakistan. Today we will be going to discuss NFPA-13, that is the sprinkler system. NFPA-13 is one of the most important codes which are being used in the fire protection and fire and life safety in high-rise buildings. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to define what are the fire sprinkler systems, what are the types of fire sprinkler systems, and what are the omissions which are being provided in the codes for non-storage occupancies, as well as what is the spacing formula for the sprinkler systems, and what are the different uses of the sprinklers, and what are their spacing, as well as the number of sprinklers which will be installed in one riser or one branch. So we will begin. As you can see in the first slide, what are the primary design factors which need to be considered when selecting or installing the sprinkler system? There are three types of factors which are very important for designing the sprinkler system in any occupancy or in a building or in any other setting. So the first one is, so what these factors will do? These factors will determine the density, the area of application, and the sprinkler spacing which is required in that occupancy. So these factors will determine these three factors. So the first factor is the combustible loading. What is meant by the combustible loading? It refers to the amount and type of fuel present, such as in the furniture, such as wall, fixture, furniture, as well as the equipment which are present in that occupancy. These will determine the spacing, the density, and the application, area of application of the sprinklers. The second factor is the continuity of combustibles. So what does mean? It means it assesses whether combustible materials extend across large spaces. Are the combustible materials are present across large spaces, or they are present only in the small spaces? The second one is the continuous combustibles may facilitate fire spread more rapidly than non-continuous materials. So if there is continuity in the material, the fire will spread more faster. The third component is the building design. Building design means the ceiling height. The ceiling height will determine the placement of the sprinkler systems, the spacing between them, and the area of application for the sprinklers. The more the roof will be high, the spacing will reduce, and all such kind of decisions will be taken as per the building design. Now moving forward, as you can see in the slide, what are the basic sprinklers location requirements? There are certain requirements which need to be fulfilled for sprinklers installation. Sprinklers must be installed throughout the premises unless specific exemption apply. It is the principle of the sprinklers to be applied or installed throughout the premises for greater their applicability and their usefulness. The second one is located. Each sprinkler must not exceed its maximum protection area. The protection area which is provided by the sprinklers should not be exceeded. Otherwise, their usage will be futile. The third is sprinkler positioning must ensure timely activation as well as effective water distribution. Their activation should ensure timely activation as well as the effective water distribution. Moreover, the omissions to be permitted only where the NFPA-13 allows. The omissions, the exceptions are also present, but only at those places where they are present in the NFPA-13. The next is permitted to be omitted from areas specifically allowed by the NFPA-13. As I have told you, any deviation from clearance requirements are allowed only and only if the sprinklers are tested and proven effective in that province, as well as the performance equivalence is demonstrated through calculation or testing. They are tested and demonstrated for that omission or exceptions or any change in the design. Moving forward, allowable sprinkler omission location and special situation areas. What are the areas in which the sprinkler omission is allowed? So we will be discussing the omissions as well as exceptions. The first one is the concealed spaces. The concealed spaces, what are the concealed spaces? Basically, the sprinklers may be omitted in non-combustible or limited combustible construction with minimal loading and no excess. The concealed spaces should have no excess, minimal loading as well as non-combustible material in the concealed spaces. The second thing is the limited access spaces not used for occupancy or storage. The concealed spaces which have limited access and they are not used as a storage or occupancy. The third is the spaces filled with non-combustible installations. The concealed spaces which are filled with non-combustible installations are not required to be sprinkled. The next is the spaces constructed entirely of fire retardant treated material. The materials which are fire retardant and fire resistant can also non-sprinkler. Now moving forward, here you can see in the diagram that these are the concealed spaces. The space between the ceiling and the roof is called the concealed spacing. Here as well, these are called the concealed spaces. As I already told you that there are certain requirements which need to be fulfilled for concealed spaces to be not sprinkled. The next is the exterior projections. These are very important as these are present in today's designs of buildings, the exterior projections. The omission allowed only and only if the width of the exterior projection do not exceed more than 4 feet. The second is they are draft stopped. The draft should not be made in these projections, only then the sprinklers are not required. Thus, they are separated by non-combustible or limited combustible walls or roofs. They are separated from non-combustible and non-combustible as well as limited combustible walls and roofs. The third is no direct opening into the building. If there is no opening into the building and projection, then the projections may not be sprinkled. Moving forward, the dwelling units and hospital areas. So in dwelling units and hospital areas, the sprinkler is not required if the washroom or the bathroom is less than 55 feet square of the area. 55 square feet of area. The bathroom is not such of a large space, then the sprinkler is not required. Moreover, the surface is not combustible, as well as the separation of the bathroom and the other rooms is separated by a 15-minute fire resistant rating material. Moreover, the sprinkler is required in nursing homes and care facilities, limited care facilities. Moreover, the bathroom opening onto the public mains and exit ways need to be sprinkled. So I hope I am clearing all of the viewers and they are able to understand me. Now comes the electrical rooms. As you can see, electrical rooms and enclosures are very dedicated and there are very sensitive installations for any building or the facility. So what need to be installed in that premises? So sprinklers are omitted only and only if the room is dedicated to electrical installations only. The second is the equipment is dry type or listed K class fluid. Moreover, they are enclosed in 1 or 5 rated material and there is no storage of any combustible material in the electrical room. So the next is the cloud ceiling. What are the cloud ceiling? As you can see in the picture that the distance between the ceiling is called the cloud ceiling. So what are the requirements which need to be fulfilled so that the cloud ceilings may not be sprinkled? That the opening between the cloud ceiling should not exceed 20% of the ceiling area. The second is that there are above ceiling construction is non-combustible or limited combustible. Moreover, the ceiling height should not be more than 20 feet. Only then the cloud ceilings may not be sprinkled. There are other exceptions too, which can also be non-sprinkled. There are revolving doors which should not be sprinkled. Moreover, there are furnitures or cabinets not intended for occupancy. They also may not be sprinkled. Moreover, the bottom of non-combustible stairwells should also have no sprinklers, as well as the elevator machine rooms, the hoistways and the control rooms may also not be sprinkled, and the top of non-accessible vertical shaft ducts must be non-combustible. Only then they may not be sprinklered. So these were the omissions and exceptions for the occupancies to be not sprinklered. Now here comes the use of the sprinkler, where the sprinklers should be used. The sprinklers are very important for any occupancy, for fire protection of that building. The installation requirements. What should be the installation requirements for sprinkler system for different occupancies? The sprinklers must be listed. They should be listed, which are being installed. The alternate positions allowed for special construction features. If there are special construction features in the building, then only then alternate positions can be allowed only. Upright sprinklers are those sprinklers whose frame arms are parallel to the riser or the branch line. It is very important for the sprinklers to not install them before the solvent cement, where the pipe fitting is being installed with the solvent cement. Then there is the temperature sensitivity, the sensitivity of the sprinklers. The sprinklers are sensitive to the temperature. So what should be the temperature and of which type of the sprinklers should be placed there? So if the ceiling temperature is 100 degree Fahrenheit, then the high temperature sprinklers should be installed. Moreover, if there is a near stream of any main stream is moving near the sprinkler, or there is any radiator which produces heat, only at that place the intermediate sprinklers need to be installed. Then there is if there is a near blow-off valve, if there is a blow-off valve near the sprinkler, then the high temperature sprinklers should be installed. Under skylights, the intermediate sprinklers can be installed. And if there is a cooking equipment, then the sprinkler which need to be installed near cooking equipment need to be high or very high temperature type. And if there are dryer closets, then at that place the sprinkler should be of intermediate temperature rating. And if there are ducts whose temperatures are less than or equal to 100 degree Fahrenheit, at that places the ordinary sprinklers can be installed. There are certain types of sprinkler systems, sprinklers. I will name these types. The first type is the ordinary or residential sprinklers. The second one is the quick response. The third one is the quick response, and the last one is the ESFR, early suppression, fast response sprinklers. Dual listed sprinklers may be used across components without separation. If there are components without separation, dual listed sprinklers can be utilized. The minimum K factor. The K factor is one of the most important property of the sprinklers. The minimum K factor which need to be installed in the premises should not be less than 5.8. Moving forward, sprinkler location and spacing. These are very important, as the sprinklers are not separated or located according to their designated densities or their area, then their use will be compromised and their efficiency will decrease. Sprinkler must protect area as per NFPA objectives. So it is the main principle of the sprinklers. The second is the no additional protection needed for architectural features without additional floor area. If the floor area is not increased, then the number of sprinklers which are decided as per the spacing formula may not need to be increased. So what is the formula for the calculation of the spacing of the sprinkler? The formula is AS is equal to S into L. Now what is the S and what is meant by the L factor? The S is the along the branch distance of the sprinklers. The S is determined by the along the branch line, the distance between the sprinklers. So how it is measured? It is measured by upstream downstream distance to wall or next sprinkler. Now how we can determine it? We determine it by taking the values of twice of the wall distance from the sprinkler, twice of the wall distance from the sprinkler, or the distance to next sprinkler. The value of the two, which one is greater, will be considered as the S value. Now how we can determine the L value? In order to measure the L value, measure the perpendicular distance to adjacent sprinkler or wall. In the S, the distance is measured on parallel axis. Now in the L measurement, the distance is measured on perpendicular axis. Again, the values both of wall distance to the sprinkler and the distance from sprinkler to sprinkler is calculated, and the value which one is higher is considered as the L value. So at the end, the spacing will be calculated with the formula AS is equal to S into L. Now, what is the coverage area? Coverage area, the maximum coverage area which the sprinkler can control or which the sprinkler can protect is around 400 foot scale. Maximum spacing is based on the centerline distance along the ceiling slope. The centerline distance along the ceiling slope is the most important factor through which the spacing can be measured. Wall to sprinkler distance measured perpendicularly, and to maintain, we have to maintain proper clearance between the sprinklers so that the area should not be skipped or there is excessive wetting of the area should be controlled. How we can control it? We can control it by calculating the proper spacing of the sprinkler. So there are some also tables present in the NFPA-13 which guide us on the spacing of the sprinklers. As you can see here, there are 4 factors. The first one is the construction type. What is the construction type? It also matters by deciding the spacing of the sprinkler. The second is the space type. What is the space? What is the system type? Either it is pipe or pipe scheduled or hydrostatically tested. The third one is maximum protection area in square feet which the sprinklers will protect. The last one is the maximum spacing between the sprinklers. Moreover, it is also very important that as a result of the occupancy increases, the spacing between the sprinkler will also decrease and the density of the sprinkler will increase. So I hope you people will find this presentation knowledgeable, and I will become able to give clear understanding regarding the NFPA-13. Questions? If there are any questions, you are most welcome. Thank you so much.